Alright guys, I've got an invention here that I have not seen anywhere online. It's taken me hours to figure out. And it is the most automated slaughterhouse you can possibly have in Minecraft to date. Alright? There are a lot of slaughterhouse techniques out there. Some of them are really good, really quick. Notice this is a little bit bigger than some of those really small ones. But the problem I have with the other versions out there is they usually require two things from the player. You've got to breed the cattle, and then you have to leave for 20 minutes, come back, and then hit another button or hit another lever in order for all the cattle to get cooked. And that kind of sucks because when you've got a million things going on in your farm, I always forget to do that. I breed the cattle, and then I come back and I kill them, and I always walk off without my meat, something like that. So this is the first fully automated system. Alright, and it works something like this. Here is the demonstration. So I've got my, if this is a creative obviously, if this is survival though, I'd have wheat in my hand instead of an egg, alright? I've got my cows here jumping on water like they always do, and I'm going to breed some babies here. Alright, so now we have a lot of baby cows here. You see what the system does is the baby cows come, they go into a filter here, they get filtered out, and then they circle back around, and they cannot get through. However, if I add an adult cow to the mix, so let's say that I leave for 20 minutes and I come back and one of these guys has grown up on me, alright? Here's a grown cow. So if I'm in my survival, I'm already done. All I did was breed the cow, I leave, and when I come back, there will be meat in my locker. Put the adult cow in, he passes the filter system here. Alright. Just gonna ride the elevator. Now whenever you have multiple cows, this is really easy. Because they all push themselves up the elevator, each other up the elevator. When you got just one cow though, sometimes they can take some damage here because they mess around on this elevator. But he will eventually go up and he won't die. Here we go. Rise up, down, through the lava blade, and voila. So all you have to do if you're in survival using this technique, feed these guys some wheat. The wheat will take them out there, they'll breed, you leave, you come back 20 minutes later, and you've got a chest full of stuff. I have not seen anybody else post this on YouTube, and I know I looked around a lot. Hopefully someone else came up with this before me. Sorry, but I couldn't find any videos. All right, so let's go on. I'm going to sleep, and then I'll start explaining how this whole thing works. Alright, so there's a couple pieces to this thing that are a little bit complicated, alright? So this is kind of the economy version. Yeah, it's kind of big. I know a lot of people want it really small, but that doesn't really make sense because this is the exact height you need to drop something through lava. Now you can come up with a much more complicated system, but the nice thing about this is the lava kills quickly. It goes up to the exact height that needs to kill them based on lava, drops them down, so they'll make it through. All the cows will, burns them up. It's exactly as high as it should be, which I think is 8 blocks. Okay, and the width is exactly as small as it could be. You could make it smaller, but the problem is, you'll see here the baby circle, it puts them through the filter more times, just gives your filter more chances. I mean really, the longer the babies take to get around, the better it is. They need 20 minutes to grow. So this is, like I said, this is the economy version, the smallest possible version I could come up with. All right, let's take a look over here at the, this is kind of the 1.0 here. And this is kind of the 2.0. That's the 1.0 over there. I think it's just a mess. This is the 2.0, okay? And it's nice and color-coded for everybody out there. Okay, red is cattle going to the slaughter, all right? So there's really, let me see. Yeah, there's really 4 parts here to this thing, okay? The blue is the feeder, where you feed in your cattle after you've bred your babies, and this is where they go, right? All the babies get filtered out and they come down here, okay? Red is all the cows going to be slaughtered, okay? Orange is what I call my filter system, okay? And green is what I call my reclaim or recycle system. So the whole idea behind this is it's an inverse filter, okay? What we're going to do is just essentially, they're all going to come down the feeder path. They're going to come into the orange here, which is the filter. All the babies are going to be filtered out and sent through, okay? And when the babies stop being filtered out, when they grow up, they'll no longer be filtered out. They'll pass the filter, they'll bypass the filter, and they'll go out to where we're slaughtering them, okay? So the feeder system, there's a lot of examples out there. I'm not going to talk about that. You can learn how to do that for a lot of people. And the slaughter system, you can see the one that I use, and you can come up with your own method of doing the slaughter system. Those are simple. The 2 parts that were complicated and took hours and all of this experimenting here, literally everything here, I've been doing this hours, it's just dumb, is this orange filter system and this green reclaim system, okay? So the first thing I'm going to talk about is how we filter out our baby cattle, okay? Now, interestingly enough, if I come down here and I use some blocks, all right, let's grab a half slab. Okay, and let's grab something that's a full block. It makes it real easy to tell the difference. Okay, not glass. So what everybody's been doing out there to filter out babies is going under the fact that the males are 2 tall and the baby's 1 tall. So if you take that out, a male can't pass this direction, but a baby can. You know, let's give this thing some walls so it makes sense. Okay. But this isn't actually accurate, okay? The grown cows, they're not actually 2 tall. They are 1.5 tall, which is really kind of weird until you start working with, because that means you can't ride along anywhere, okay? Now, the reason this is important, the 1.5, is what makes this filter system work over here, okay? If you see where the orange is, all right, and you see there's those wood planks in there, look at the wood planks, okay? The pistons are there, so we have a 1.5 space. There's only a half a space here above the pistons when they're extended, okay? And that's glass on the end of the pistons. They're sticky pistons. You have to have glass, or else you'll suffocate the animal, okay? So let's go around. I'll show you the other side, what's happening here, all right? So you've got a 1 tall space here that I've used signs to hold back the water from this canal. So the babies get pushed here into these signs and they drop, all right? Okay, this is a 1 tall space, so adult cows can't fit through. However, if you look just inside, I've used that half slab, and this is a 1.5 tall space, okay? So important, because this is what makes this whole filter system work. That 1.5 tall space, and it has to go extend. See, there's 4 pistons. We'll get to that. It has to be exactly 4 pistons on an exact timing to work. But there's 4 pistons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 half slabs that I've used to reduce to a tall space. That's so important because it means that the baby cattle can't jump up above a 1 tall space, right? The baby cattle is 1 tall, so they're going to jump. They're only going to get halfway up. That means they're going to get hit by the piston every time. If you don't have that there, the babies will jump above the pistons. Sometimes they'll get behind it, they'll get stuck on it, they'll glitch, and they will not filter out. This filter system is 100% works every time. 100% of the time, every time. Okay? So that's the real deal here, is this 1.5. The other thing about this filter system that's important is the timing of these pistons. Like I said, they've got to have glass, and the glass block there, you kind of see it's black through that orange and red. It's what's actually going to push the babies out there so it doesn't suffocate them. Alright? You have to have this set up, 4 pistons. Okay, notice that when the pistons retract, the water ends right at that tile there. You can see it? See? Inside that glass? That means that is the 8th space, okay? Has to be spaced exactly this way. The 4th piston ends 1 space away from the 8th run of the tile. So 8 from that is where my water is starting, okay? Super important, because if you change the spacing at all or the timing of this at all, then you'll get a bunch of adult cows that get stuck there because this water doesn't make it through enough to push them off. As it is, it barely makes it through. Or it's flowing so fast through here that it's pushing the baby cows through real quick, and some of them are getting by the filter. Alright, so if you want a filter that filters out 100% of baby cows every single time, gotta have this timing to it. Alright? You have to have a repeater circuit here. Alright, here's my clock, my little clock loop. Okay? You can use any kind of loop you want, but what you need are 1, 2, 3 repeaters set to full repeat. And that is the filter system, okay? If you set your timing, you remember your 1.5 space in there, it goes 6 over 4 pistons, the water ends right at the end, this will work. If you mess up any of that stuff and some babies are going to get through, you're not going to have a 100% filter. Alright? Now number 2 that makes this thing work is the reclaim or the recycle system over here. Okay? There were many ways. I tried using half slabs, I tried using stairs, I tried using a number of techniques, and adults will climb these ladders, any of those techniques, okay, they'll climb your little water ladder, okay, your reclaim system. The player climbs it real easy. Baby cows do not. They go inside and drown. There's a user actually on YouTube who found out baby elevator, which is, you know, I had tried everything, and then I found him, and he was using fence posts, and that is the trick that makes this all possible. What actually happens is because you're not supposed to be able to hop on top of fence posts, so when you hit a fence post, or an animal does, it actually hops a little bit. And that hop gives the baby animal just enough to get up. Alright? Got to use the fence posts. If we go over here and we look at some of my initial tries, alright? Uh-oh, I'm glitching. Alright. The baby will drown. Okay, you'll see what I mean. He's going to get stuck right there. He's not going to move. He's going to drown. Use that. That's what happens with half slabs, stairs, anything like that. You have to be using. You have to be using fence posts. Fence posts are the only thing that make this whole thing work. See, I use it the same concept in my elevator. See, I stop the water from flowing. Fence posts. All right. And the user that figured that out, he's on YouTube. I will post the link to his video in the description. Attaboy. That took me forever, and I was getting nowhere until you posted that. So thanks a lot, man. This is my first video ever posting a new discovery for Minecraft. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I really like this because I'm an idiot and I got a million things going on in Minecraft all the time. I feed my cows, and then I come back and I forget to cook them, and then I don't have meat when I need it, or I come back and I cook them, then I run off. I mean, when you've got a million things, it's so convenient to hit a button. Not to mention that, I mean, if anyone can see they just grew up. Look, perfect timing. These guys just became adults, and now they're going through the system. And look, like that one that got stuck earlier, these guys aren't going to be stuck as much. They're going to start coming through way faster now. Look, up the elevator. So all I had to do was breed these guys. That's it. And the meat ends up there. No coming back. Automatically incubates them, cooks them. Alright guys, that's my video. Thank you for watching.